Why, hello YouTube, this is BalorMage again, and we are making our first video on Torchlight's Outlaws season. Anybody who hasn't tried Torchlight in the past, I really do have to suggest playing it. I've been having a lot of fun. We're on day 7 now. It's a very, very nice break. You got to jump over here and try it. If you've not tried it before, now is the time. But that's not what this video is about. We had a pretty massive problem, or at least I did, and anyone who was playing in my chat did, which was we could not maintain tier 8 beacons. Trying to push into tier 8s, 8-0, 8-1, trying to stay there, kept having to buy beacons. That was annoying, and I was very broke. I couldn't afford juice, I couldn't afford compasses, and I really didn't want to be spending my money buying extra beacons, but you don't make as much money in tier 7s. So we came up with a tree with 0 investments, 0 compasses, and 0 pets needed. Obviously, if you have whatever your best normal drop pets are, wear them anyway, but no pet specific things needed, no compasses, no nothing, full sustain, and we've been using it to make a ton of money. I'm probably only making about 250 FE an hour, which is a lot lower than a lot of other strategies say, except I'm doing it with 0 investment, and I've tried a bunch of other strategies and I was never able to pull the 600 or 900 that I saw anywhere else. None of them worked for me, and they all involved buying a bunch of beacons. I didn't want to buy beacons, so let's jump in and see how we've done infinite map sustain. All right, so here we are with the void chart. Now, the real important bits for me was that I would still have a way to make money. I didn't need any specific pets, and that we would maintain an infinite amount of beacons, tier 8 beacons. So one of the biggest ones is obviously to invest in the beacon tree. We get a lot of replicated maps, a lot of bosses drop additional stuff, chance for magic monsters to drop beacons. If no compasses are placed, get more beacons. Fantastic. We could have picked a side to have specific beacons, but for me specifically, I don't mind jumping around. I do all the maps. I'm less interested in what is the absolute 100% most efficient. I don't want to run the exact same map over and over again. I'm happy to bounce around, but if you would like to be more specific, you can take a specific beacon. If you want to stay in lava seas, you know, take 1 or 2 of these. Anyway, more beacons over here. It's all about beacons. We've taken the whole beacon tree. This is what I think is the most efficient way to take it. Obviously we've missed some of the travel nodes in there, but that's fine. That is nowhere near enough on its own. We got to maintain a few other things. This is just a floater point. I had 1 extra point here, so I spent it in 2% chance with bosses, but that's not important. We kept embers and we kept Netherrealm resonance. These turn into more maps, plus we need them anyway. In fact, we don't quite sustain our Netherrealm resonance. In a full 12-hour stream, I have to buy about 500 of these total. Now we're fully juicing every single map, so we are almost fully maintaining them. I do have to buy a little bit of them every day, but not much. Then embers, because we're always short on embers. Really good. Love that. And then how do we make our money? Well, we make our money 2 ways. One, I have the sand pirates 100% spawning. This is a mechanic that just happens in your map. There's a whole town to build that does not require pets to be good. But even if you ignored the town, just the mobs in the maps is kind of worth it, and definitely is dropping enough FE to matter. Building the town is a lot easier than it was last league, but you could just ignore it and this would still be worth taking. You could have 0 pets for it and it would still be worth building the town. So that's good. And then a ton of our money actually comes from this guy right here, the whatever you call these anchor mechanics. I don't know what it is. They're the ones that drop hero memories. So this is fantastic. I've just taken all the chance to spawn, so we do that at the end, and I have only taken this wheel here. So basically every single round we do Whispers of Wealth, which means that the selection at the end, where you get to pick what gets added to the pool of loot, is always of a higher tier. It's always a better thing. And when you're doing this mechanic, the only things the things that we want to look out for is stacking rewards. So in an ideal world, I'd be getting hero memories in the base drop pool, increased quant of the base drop pool, and increased rarity. I would like to mix those three things together. But even if we don't, threads are fine. Every other reward is fine. So from the first 2 or 3 that you get, it sort of sets the tone for how you're going to be building that. You just go with whatever. This is worth a ton of money. We're making a ton of money out of this one as well. So those two are the majority of our like profit. And then these just let us, or this one and those let us basically maintain our maps forever. This is definitely a starting strategy. This is definitely if you're more new to tier 8s, you just hit it and need to maintain. It is also worth noting, I did not have both of these points for the longest time, and I tested both this point and this point. Both seemed good. I think I would just keep the bosses and drop the quantity if I only had 2. I tested both were fine. There's no problem with either one. So yeah, that's the whole thing. The build link will be in the description. You saw what it looked like running it before. It's not flashy, it's not fancy, but it requires no pets, no investment, no nothing. And you just run the thing, get more maps than you spend with 0 investment. It is worth noting all those tier 8 beacons are worth 4 to 5 FE each, and we are over sustaining them. I started out with only, I had bought 10 Thunder Wastes, and then I ran Thunder Wastes for about 12 hours. I've already sold many of the other maps. I've still got an excess of maps left, and I'm down to 3 Thunder Wastes, so I'm technically not quite maintaining exclusively Thunder Wastes in this tree, but I'm getting a ton of extra maps that are all just getting sold as well. So that's fantastic. That's going to be probably, unless they massively change it, this is going to be my like starting tree for when I hit tier 8s every league, because it just floods me with maps and I've really enjoyed it. All right, that is all I have for this one. I will see everybody next time. Bye bye.